Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm Mega 31. We have a nice 5-game slate for Thursday. I mean, there have been some times where the games have been spread out throughout the whole day, or there's been weather issues, or I think last week it was like a 3-game early and a 3-game late. But this one's a nice 5-gamer. It does start a little bit early, so just keep that in mind. It's a 6:40 start, not your normal like 7:05 start. So I didn't look at FanDuel. Hopefully they start the same. I mean, maybe they have a 4-game slate starting at whenever like the 7 o'clock games start to play. But and then there's an early game today if you want to play Showdown New York and Minnesota. And I've actually really kind of liked these earlier games just simply because I've been doing, if you're looking at the DK achievements, there's a home run streak one, and maybe you inadvertently have already been doing it just by your regular lineups. But I love having the early games because I'll just go in the dime in the showdown. I'll like it costs you literally 30 cents to stack every single player in the starting lineup. It's 3 lines. There's 18 players there. If you do the math, you get like 6 players. If you do the math, it's 30 cents. And I've usually captured the home run in an early showdown, so then I don't have to worry about it in the main slate. But if there's no home runs in the main slate or in the showdown, then the main slate I'll just be going in the dimes again and building like 5 and 4 stacks of each game in the dime, just because it's a pretty decent amount of crowns that they're giving you for it. So and I really enjoy crown chasing. I bought some really nice Christmas presents because Black Friday they usually have a sale for when you redeem your crowns, and usually everything's half price. So got like 3 iPads last year. So okay. The other commercial note is that we are running some promotions here on FSi. If you go and check out our X page or Twitter, then you'll see that we have a promo code for PGA. I know it locked, but if you're playing the showdowns for the weekend, you want to get in on that action through the month of May, that's going to be free for you with the coupon. And then free just by going to the website is we're introducing WNBA. Bert has come in and joined us. He's done some other things out there in the basketball universe, and we're partnering with him with WNBA. And it also opens up playoff NBA for you too. So that is free. All you have to do is go to the description of the video, go to our website, to the pricing page, and select in your shopping cart the NBA week, and the price will be 0, and you can just sign up that way. So some free things for you on our site to take advantage of. So baseball here. First game, we have New York Mets and Philadelphia Phillies. The wind's blowing in here at like 13 miles per hour. So it's going to make it a decent pitching slate or pitching matchup here. But I'm still not playing Quintana. Philly put up like 10 runs yesterday. They were decent. They got into the bullpen too, so it wasn't just the starter. So the Mets, I don't know, maybe Quintana will have to go like longer than he'd really like to, but I just really don't like him in this matchup here. So gonna be a fade for me. And the Philly is like a middle road, like strikeout and stuff. So I just gonna move on. It's even though it's a smaller 5-game slate, Quintana is not in the picture for me. Now Walker on the other range with the wind blowing in, he's an average pitcher, but I think, and I know that there's not as much K upside with the Mets. They're usually pretty good. Their K rate is like 20% usually against overall, and I think it's about the same against right-hand pitching. So I don't expect a ton of strikeouts, but at his price point, I think that he can definitely go deep enough into the game. He has the win upside there. Should be able to limit power with the wind blowing in, and it should have a decent game. I think Nemo's going to be back in the lineup there leading off, and you always have to respect like Lindor every so often. But I really like them more against lefties than righties, the Mets, with their power the way they have it. So in their handedness and most of the lineup, like JD Martinez, I'd rather have against the lefty. Alonso definitely against the lefty. Bader against the lefty. So I think that Walker is definitely a great option here as your SP2 in cash, and that's why I have him as top of the cheap. Bat wise, Philly probably my third favorite stack, and they're a little bit more affordable than Houston and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are super expensive. Like even some of the like mid-range hitters are getting up into the 5K range here. But Schwarber should be back in the lineup. Romuto returns to the lineup. Harper. But I'd probably go look at the righties here. Bomb. He probably a good shot to hit a home run. Castellanos has been heating up. He's 43. Stott should still be in the lineup. Lefty and lefty. Don't love it, but he's been hot recently. But Sosa, at if you're looking for a nice shortstop punt at 3K, he's been doing really well. And Whit Merrifield, he might move up the lineup sometimes when he's facing a lefty, but he's solid also. So you could do a nice like wraparound stack here and go like 7, 8, 9 with Sosa, Mayfield, Merrifield, Rojas, and then Real Muto Bomb, and just skip like Schwarber and Harper in it. And you're going like 7, 8, 9, 2, 4, or throw Castellanos in there, and then you can just go like Bomb Castellanos, skip Scott, and then just go down to the bottom of the lineup. It'll make it a little bit different because everybody like tries to stack the top of it. I get it, and they lose the ninth if they're ahead too because they're at home. But I think that's definitely the way I want to attack Philly here. Tampa Bay and Boston, Zach Littell hasn't been horrible this season, and Boston's been hit or miss, but the lefties look pretty good. I think you expect like him to be average. Like strikeout rate for Boston is pretty high, so there should be some Ks there. So I mean that's good for him. And was the wind blowing in here also? Yes, it's blowing in at 11 miles per hour again, so that helps pitching also. Cooper Criswell on the other side, he's going to be my other favorite cheap pitcher here. And uh, I definitely, if you want to pivot off Walker, if you fear the Mets, like Tampa Bay, I think is like a even. Um, they just, I know Lowe's back in the lineup, being a home run last night, but they're just like really not. Price has been good both sides of the plate, but the rest of them, they just really haven't been. I mean, they had some hits last night, and I think it was win aided, but they're just not a super imposing offense. So, or even one that like cobbles together like Cleveland and Washington that like we call the death by a thousand cuts offenses too. So I think Criswell has had a great start to the season. I think it's a great matchup for him. So if you want to get a little bit crazy and like do a full stack of like Philly or the Dodgers or Houston, I don't object going like Walker and Criswell and GPP as your pitchers and just like punt the rest because as we talk about them, they're all going to have some concerns here and there besides Glassnow, and if you that's a often to pay out for if you want bats. So I mean, it's a way to go in a GPP. So just write that down and kind of remember that. Tampa Bay lineup, nobody I really like here. I think that they make sense in a GPP. And the only reason I put them above Boston in the GPP with the wind blowing in is just because they do get the top of the ninth and they get that extra potential inning. But Boston, I think these teams are even. They both have a 4.25 total. It's pretty much Boston's only favored by like the money line's negative 112, which I mean it's pretty close. 8-run total overall, even though I've seen some places say 4.25, which would be 8.5. But I think Boston bats I like here. Like if you can, they're not expensive as some of the other stacks, but they're kind of up there. But I think they're still solid here. Duran, Abreu, Devers, Smith is nice. Anytime he gets a righty, playing first base here at 2,300. So I think that Boston could be a solid fill-in for your cash games with some of these cheaper bats, like even like Wong at catcher at 3,600 has been hitting both sides of the plate pretty good. Um, that's I think a way to make it kind of work to get some good bats in to be able to build your lineup, get some of the big bats from some of the bigger teams in, get decent pitching, and then still have a decent line for yourself. We'll have to watch the weather in Pittsburgh and Chicago. It's a 62% chance of rain right now, but it looks like it's tapering off. So it looks like a late start. It looks like they should be able to get this one in. Wind is out 7 miles per hour, so that does help hitting. Jared Jones has been good to start the season. He's had a couple bad games here and there. The only thing that scares me about him is two factors. One of his bad games was he just faced the Cubs. Uh in this, I think it was his last start out. So that is a little bit concerning. And like they have been really watching him as a young pitcher and kind of limiting his innings. So yeah, last game out, he faced the Cubs on the 10th, so 6 days ago. He had four strikeouts, gave up one home run, two earned runs, seven hits, two walks. So I mean, it wasn't a abysmal performance. He still had like 12, but he can't 12 BK points at what's his price 9-1. I mean, I just can't do that. In cash, I'll take a shot at him definitely, probably in GPP, but in cash games, I'm not going to touch him, just because the Cubs already got to him. But with the wind and the wind's blowing out here, so this isn't the one. Sorry, I thought it was one of the ones where the wind's blowing in. So I think there's just that's three strikes there against him. Is that he already faced this team and struggled. The wind's blowing in, and that they sometimes pull him early just because he's a young talent and they're probably not going anywhere this year. So they want him to get some major league experience, but they don't want to blow his arm out. Steele on the other side is an okay option. Again, I don't think there's a ton of he's not really a strikeout pitcher, but he only has 11 Ks in the whole season in his three starts that he's had, because he did get injured, so he did just come back. So he's only gone to like 4 innings and 4.2. He's had like 2 and 3 Ks. Now Pittsburgh is a team that is prone to strike out against right-handed pitching, so they're probably going to be top five in baseball. So there's some strikeouts baked in to it, but I still don't feel that he's going to. He's going to probably see a lot of righties. Cruz probably be the only lefty in the lineup. So Steele, I think, is in playing GPPs, but I'm definitely not going to play him in cash. Bat wise, I mean, Pittsburgh makes a cheap stack if you want to throw some of the righties together. If you look at like some of the numbers, like it looks like McCutcheon should be able to hit a home run off him. But I don't know. I don't know if McCutcheon's got that left in him. But Reynolds, if he snaps out of it, Connor Joe always like Olivares. Joey Bart, the catcher they picked up from San Francisco, is a high prospect. They're the top five batters probably where I just stack a GPP. But I wouldn't put too much money on it. The Cubs looked good last night. They really got some. I think it was it Morton last night where they playing the Braves, but they've been hitting better. Uh, Bachman is still in the lineup. I thought like as guys came back that he'd kind of fade away, but he's been there with Suzuki and Bellinger back, and Talkman seems to be like an everyday player. Like so, having Suzuki back there up top is good. Bellinger with lefty, Hampson really struggling. Bush hasn't been as strong, but you got some cheap pieces and like Master Booney is only like 2,100 there. I think he's second and third base eligible if you need a punt that has a splits advantage. But again, we'll have to watch the weather on this one. Oakland and Houston, we have Joey Estes and Christian Javier. Estes is okay, but it's Houston. So, and Houston's really starting to heat up and put it together, and that's exactly what you don't want for a young pitcher to face, and especially going up against a team that has like the lowest K rate in Major League Baseball, significantly by 2 points over the closest one, which would be Kansas City. Like they don't walk. They've got good plate discipline. They don't strike out. They have power. So I think if you want to, and especially like Estes' price is just it's 7Ks, not even like in a 5 or 6K pitcher. Like he had one start against Seattle, and of course that's always going to be a great matchup because Seattle like strikes out against little league pitching. But he only had 5Ks in that matchup. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 home run. So I think we need to see him a little bit more before we can start playing him. I mean, if you're mass multi entering at a 5 game slate, like okay, keep him in your player pool, but you're probably looking at like only about like maybe less than 5% that you want to put him in your lines. Houston on the other side, Javier. Uh, Again, this guy's just been so up and down. A couple years ago, like he and like Frammer, like on his team, were like such a solid like 1 and 2, but he just got roughed up by Detroit. He gave up 7 earned runs in 1.1 inning. He just got torched. But again, the game before that, he went 7 innings. He gave up 2 runs, had 5 Ks, and against a Texas team, which is pretty good. Kansas City, again, he went 5.5, and he like kind of struggled there. So he's been up and down, up and down. He had a great game against the Yankees. So we don't know which Javier is going to show up here. The other issue with Javier is Oakland has been, believe it or not, an elite team hitting against left-handed pitching. I know you're saying Javier's a righty. Javier's a reverse flip pitcher. He has been, if you look at some of his numbers. So it's almost like they're facing a lefty. So I kind of really like Boros here, Langoliers, and um, Rooker and Geloff and Nevin, even Brett Harris at the bottom of the lineup. Like some of these righties could actually give him a rough day. Not probably as bad as Detroit did, but it's entirely possible. So I think Javier is probably the top pitcher in the medium range if I'm not overthinking it. But if I'm looking a little bit deeper and not just looking at surface level, I do see some concerns here. So I don't think I can play him in cash. And I do think I will have some Oakland ownership in the right-handed bats against him, even though it's looks like the split's wrong. He's a reverse splits pitcher, so that should pay off. Houston, again, top stack on the slate here. Altuve's been hitting well. Tucker and Alvarez are just amazing. Singleton has been decent. Bregman, after hitting 3 home runs in 2 days, still had a decent game last night. I mean, we'll have to see like if he continues. Looper Fido on the bottom down here has been solid. Jake Myers has been also with some of the other injured outfielders. He's not been being platooned as much. So, if you want to do a wraparound stack or try to find some cheaper ones, but I really like the fact that Looper, Fido, and Singleton are in this lineup and that they are decent hitters with these amazing hitters around them. It really helps with the pricing and helps you get up to the 5.7 for Altuve, the 6.1 for Tucker, and the 5.3 for Alvarez. So, and then you can decide if you want to play Pena, Bregman, or Diaz. I think everybody in this lineup is in play here to stack. Final game we have is Cincinnati and Dodgers. Looks like it's going to be an opener situation. Nick Martinez is coming back off of the injured list. We don't know if he's going to open or if he's going to be the long release. So, but still, he's facing the Dodgers, and I don't think we even want to go there with him. And it looked like Sutter might be either opener or long reliever. Just not going to touch it. Like even when he was pitching full games and going like 5 and 6 innings, he still was only putting up like less than 10 DK points. So that's just something that you just don't want to be doing, especially against the Dodger, even on a small slate. Tyler Glasnow by far is going to be the top pitcher on the slate here. Yes, Cincinnati can score runs. Yes, we like them better in their home ballpark, but if you want to take a shot at the bats in a GPP, that's fine. But I think it's like a complete contrarian leverage stack. But Glasnow, if you can get up to him, is top pitcher on the slate. So, like I said, Glasnow is top pitcher if you can get up to him, but I want to pay for some bats here, so let's see how that works. Jones had my concerns with the weather and facing the Cubs recently. Littell, I think, is decent against Boston. They do strike out, and the wind is blowing in, so I think he's in play there. And then Javier, again, I just kind of fear the right-handed power that Oakland has against lefties, translating to him being a reverse switch pitcher. Steele doesn't have a ton of K upside, but Pittsburgh can help him with that a little bit. And then Estes, I really want to see more. I love the cheap range of Walker and Criswell, and I think if you want to like fully try to stack some of these high priced teams, that I just go with the two of them, and I'm not touching the Cincinnati situation or Quintana. So let's see what we have bat wise. So Glasnow and Walker is where I'm going for my pitching. And then again, give me some of these cheaper bats for um, Houston in Singleton, and maybe I'll throw in Looper Fido in the outfield there. And that can give me Tucker, give me Alvarez, can give me Altuve. It can give me Glasnow as a pitcher. And then it's going to give me some of these Cubs players that have already seen and did well against Jones in my lineup. And Morel and Mastrobuoni fill two spots that are decent, and their price range is pretty cheap there. GPP, Javier, if you don't fear the whole, but it's a GPP, so it's not a cash, or Steele that doesn't have the K upside. So either one of them, however you want to go, Criswell, or just throw Walker in there. You can get even more bets. But give me the Dodgers. So give me Betts and Ohtani, and you can decide if you want Muncy or if you want to throw like Lux or Outman or Freddie Freeman in there. But I'm going to throw the left-handed bats of Boston in there. Brewer, Duran, Devers, however we say it. If you don't go Muncy there, and D. Smith at first base, Connor Wong I like at catcher, and that's what I go for GPP. So that's what I got for you. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put in the chat below. Hit me up at MyRiver31 on Twitter/X. If these videos help you, help us back. Like, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and hope you have a great Thursday. And I look forward to this weekend for NASCAR coverage. If you want to come back to our channel, it's been all set already, so I should have something for like Truck Series, and check that out. Kinley will have baseball tomorrow, and we'll try to get some weekend ones up, but if not, we'll be back Monday. So thanks for watching. Hope you have an amazing day and weekend. Good luck in your contest. I'll see you.